going, and the 1 hour is on the clock. The lights will start to climb up. I don't think we're able to see them. No, we're not. We are away. We are green and racing here at Suzuka for the opening round of the RDTCC. It's going to be Ferdinand Lechner heading up towards turn number 1. He's going to take the early lead ahead of Ismail Akibu. We've got Tobias Rona trying to make his way through. He can't. He's got Anders Murr on his inside now. They're going to run side by side. It looks like we're going to remain all the way clean throughout the rest of your field. No, we're not. We've got a few drivers round. That's going to be Ross Garland on Tom Lombards together near the rear. Another driver off the circuit. Hopefully we won't come back on and collect more. It looks like for the most part we've remained relatively clean here. It was Patrick Fournier who went off the circuit. He's now back on in P20. A lot of time lost, but luckily still facing the correct direction. Up at your front though, Ferdinand Lechner has already pulled a 6/10 lead ahead of Ismail Yakubu. As you can see, it's going to be Tobias Rona in third, just ahead of Anders Murd and Robert Savagangos. We've got Manuel Alves just behind, well, not too far behind actually, in sixth. Certainly a little bit of a gap, but here goes Darren Mann looking towards the inside of Ollie McGowan. Nothing he can do there, going to have to back out of it. Just behind though, we've got Magnus Sternbury having to defend on the inside of Zaki Borgstein, trying to get around the outside into the hairpin. Remains all in line and all in file for now. As you can see, they're all coming out of the hairpin in single file. They've started to work themselves through, and that was that opening part of the circuit. Already it sort of forces you to go into a line with the racing line you have to take through there to try and keep up your pace. But this is your leaders, Ferdinand Lechner leading your way ahead of Ismail Yakubu. Looking through your rest of the field, it's still very close as Toby Ketterer is side by side with Kasper Elgum Hugard. He's on the inside, Hugard on the inside, and has to give that position to Toby Ketterer. Just behind now, Fernandez on the inside of Blasicek has been able to do that and is through. And just behind it's going to be Borgstein trying to keep it ahead of Colin Herx. Herx now on the inside, Borgstein stuck to the outside. Through the final turn they go, and it looks like they have been able to do it. No, not at the moment. They're going to remain side by side, and it looks like that's going to be Patrick Fournier going to try and get involved in this as well. And that's actually Fournier now looking to the inside of Colin Herx, being able to do it. There's a little bit of contact, and Fournier wobbles the car, is able to hold it. Will Herx be able to do anything just behind? No, he won't, and he backs out of that for now. Gap's still opening up out at front as Dan O'Neill is in a train of cars here for P number 7. It's Alves leading McGowan, and this is Dan O'Neill now looking to the inside of McGowan. It's going to become the outside. Squeezed a little bit off the circuit and going to have to remain behind in P number 9 for now. Got Darren Mann just behind and Ronnie Bourine, and that is your battle for 7th. There's 5 cars really involved in this. Manuel Alves a little bit further away from Ollie McGowan than was started at the beginning of this lap. You can see Dan O'Neill still trying to find his way through. Getting closer up front. It is getting closer up front. It's now down to 0.2 of a second. It's Ismail Yakubu. It's all over the rear. Ferdinand Lechner looks to the inside into 130R. Ismail Yakubu looking for the lead. He takes the lead. Will he be able to hold it into 130R? Yes, he does. Lechner backs out of it. And now Ismail Yakubu leads the way. They head into the chicane as Tobias Rona has gone off the circuit to 130R. Found his way back on. Luckily has not lost any positions. Lost quite a bit of time though. But that's going to be Yakubu leading the way off of the second lap. Ferdinand Lechner now down a second and is about 6/10 behind, in fact. Tobias Rona has got Anders Murr and Robert Savagangos all over the rear of him now after he's gone off at 130R. And I'm sure Murr is going to try and find his way onto the podium here at the opening round. Of course, only 1 point separating each position. So really, that's how close the championship can be come the end of this series. The fact that it is only 1 point for each gain for each position you gain in the race. It's very close still in the middle part of the field. This opening sector though, the snaking that the opening sector has here at Suzuka just makes it very difficult for overtaking. But one mistake and that's going to be your position gone, because you can lose so much time if you don't get the right racing line through there. Up onto the brakes as they come up through the middle part of the course. So all head see that Hugard is on the inside of Jim Nobbs. It becomes the outside in the hairpin. Nobbs is going to try his hardest to hold on to P number 12, and that's a slide for Hugard. He has to stay behind into P number 14. Sorry, that was not P number 12, that was P number 13 they were battling for. As Anders Murr did get all onto the rear of Robert Sevigangas, because Tobias Rona has fallen down to P number 5. That's not what he would have wanted, but we missed that. Rona's down from 3rd to 5, and Sevigangas is up from 5th to 3rd. We've got past both these, and Murr has only just got past Rona. Coming through 130 only here, they're completely on the floor. There's no lifting through there. They come onto the brakes now. Through the chicane they go. Over the curbing. The gap remaining at about 0.4 of a second. Manuel Alves sitting in P number 8, just ahead of Ollie McGowan here, and another large train of drivers. We've still got so many people. Daniel Nito is trying to get his way up the inside of Steve Legale there for P number 21. Couldn't quite do it, and now he's under attack from John Patterson and Michael Klein behind. You can see there's so many cars so close together near the rear end of this field. Look at that shot. You can see there's an overtake coming just in front. That's Jorge Fernandez on the inside of Colin Hurks up to P number 18 there. What a move on the inside. And I was saying that during qualifying, with the use of DRS, getting that inside, if you can use your DRS effectively along that main straight, you can really get an easy overtake on the inside line, and that is exactly what Fernandez has been able to do. But back looking at your leaders gap, it's still opening up between Jacobu and Lechner. So Lechner not having the best run, as off goes Jorge Fernandez off the circuit. He's back on now, but he's down 3 positions. And he's got Daniel Nito and John Patterson, and actually Michael Klein right behind him. So they could really start to get involved in this battle that's going on. Tobias Rona still over the rear of Anders Murr. Murr's not too far behind Sevigangas. So this battle for P number 3 remains with these 3 cars, but really I don't think they're going to be able to catch up to Lechner or Jacobu unless there's a mistake from them, because look at that, it's already up to 4.7 seconds in just 8 minutes. Looking at Jorge Fernandez once more, as he's going to try and get through the order once more. He's behind Steve Legale, Toby Kettle involved in that as well, Colin Hurks is there as well. As they are battling for the bottom end of the top 20, in fact they are battling for the top 20. As that Jorge Fernandez dives up the inside of Steve Legale, somehow able to make it without too much contact. There was a little bit of contact. Now that was Colin Hurks looking towards the inside of Toby Kettle, but backs out of it, works a lot earlier than he really should have done, because that has now left him under attack once more from Jorge Fernandez. And actually Fernandez will be trying to remain on the circuit this time. As we look at Fernandez, he's already got to the right hand side, once again using that DRS effectively. Colin Hurks stuck on the outside, nothing he can do to get back at that. Through they come here, through turn number 2 and in towards these the S's here at Suzuka. Joe Guzman near the rear of the field, he's chasing down Ross Garland for P number 26 and 27. That's what this battle is at the moment. They are still about 37 seconds off of your leaders, but it's not too much, because you can see their positioning on the circuit is not too far behind the other guys. And Guzman tries the outside. It will become the inside if he can hold it. He has to back out of it. Just can't get it. That corner certainly not the corner you can really run side by side through. They're coming up towards the hairpin now. We're almost 10 minutes into this race. Jim Nobbs all over the rear of Casper Hugard, who's just been able to get through. So they've exchanged positions, P13 and 14. You've got Patrick Fournier just behind as well. And now Anders Murr trying to get into P number 3 past Robert Sevigangas. Looks to the outside, can't do it at the moment. And a big slide, and Murr goes around out of the chicane. Oh no, he's got to find his way back straight. He does a 360 to try and get it back straight as quickly as he possibly can. Down to P number 7 now. He's still got to pick up pace, and you've got Dan O'Neill just behind, and will now be hunting down that number 16 machine. You can see most of the Audis sitting in the middle part of this field here. You've got the Mercedes doing quite well up front in first, third and fifth position at the moment. Matt Legale actually just able to take advantage of Anders Merv's spin, and he's into that fifth now. Tobias Rona though, still about a second behind Sebagangas, so lost a little bit of time, probably caught off guard by Merv's spin, but he had to slow down a little bit to avoid collecting him. Steve Legale has gone off through the opening turn, and look how many positions he's just lost. He's not getting back onto the racing line. I think there's some sort of issue here for Steve. Hopefully he'll be able to pick up the pace once more and get back up to racing speed, as he's down to P21 now. He was sitting in about 17th position. That's 4 positions lost around turn 1 and 2, so I can just assume that he's run off the circuit, and that can lose you so much time at this circuit, definitely in the beginning part of the course, because of the you've got to get that entrance into the S's correct, otherwise that's your entire attempt through there. Just going to lose so much time. Mike McGear is side by side with Joel Guzman. They're coming up towards the hairpin. Mike McGear comes onto the brakes a lot earlier than needed to avoid contact with Guzman, and that's really caught off Ross Garland, who's then got to run deep into the hairpin. Got Tom Lombard behind. I'm not used to seeing Lombard so far down the order in P27. I'm not used to seeing most of these guys slow down the order, but that is because that is how competitive this league is. That's how competitive all these drivers are for this league. Aki Borkstein though, still all over the rear heels. I can see Toby Kettle is stuck on the outside of Jorge Fernandez, but is going to keep it on the outside lane, and that means that he's going to come onto the braking, but he backs out of it. He backs out of it on the inside chicane. He was somehow able to hold it on the outside of 130R, but has to come out of it. Coming up through now the final turn. It was really good to try and hold the outside as much as we could, but eventually just had to give in for it. As we see someone down pit lane, that's Steve Legale. This must be something to do with the issue. We saw there's someone else down pit lane as well. Who's come down pit lane with Steve Legale, and that's already a pit stop for Steve. And away he goes. I think that might have been a stop and go. I believe that might have been a stop and go, and same with Colin Herx, who's the other driver down pit lane. I think that's a stop and go for both drivers that have now come out of the pit. Steve Legale in P32, Colin Herx in P34. And wide goes Herx on the pit exit as he's moved out of the way of John Soto, who now goes through. It's nice to see John racing once more. Albeit down near the rear of the field. Ferdinand Lechner starting to close up that gap back to Ismail Yakubu. The Audi chasing down the Mercedes here. The German driver chasing down the British driver. They come up towards the final chicane, and just look at how fast they're going through there. Just two of the fastest drivers on racing, two of the fastest drivers on race department. Battling it out for the lead at the moment. It's a real shame that we lost Bogdan from this series. Oh, that's a big slide from Yakubu. Somehow able to catch it up at the front, but that is really going to be making Lexon think that he can find a way through very soon here. A little bit of a correction on the wheels. We're riding on board with Ferdinand Lechner. Looking at the gap there, it's about half a second at the moment as they head to exit the first sector. Steve Legale now to the rear of the field, it looks like. Steve Legale, even more issues for him, and he's ended up at the very back of this race at the moment. Casper Hugard. So Casper, some issue for him. Is he down pit lane? Yes, Casper is down pit lane as well. And I'm not too sure why he's down pit lane, but is it going to be another stop and go? Or is that going to be a pit stop? Not too sure, but look how close Tobias Rona is once more to Robert Sabaganga. So he's now being able to close down that gap. He might be looking for a podium once more here. Matt Legale, only about 2 seconds down the road. You saw him just flash into the screen in the background there. Might to see him start to get involved in this, but I'm not too sure. Coming through Spoon now, and that DRS will surely be activated on Tobias Rona's machine as they come up towards 130R. And look how close he's getting to the back of Robert Sevigangas. Will he try for a move? Is he going to wait behind? He comes off the throttle. He's going to wait behind through 130R. He could wait until that main straight. Don't even go for the attempt now. He's not. He was about to, but a defending move from Robert Sevigangas. He definitely backed out of it. And he can enable DRS surely along this main straight up towards turn number 1. You see on the left-hand side there, the red dots, that means the pit window has now opened. Drivers can come down pit lane to do their mandatory stop. Tobias Rona getting to the rear of Robert Sevigangas. Will he go for a move into turn 1? No, he's not quite close enough. They continue to battle for P number 3. Look back at your leaders, and it's 0.4 of a second at the moment between Jacobu and Lechner. Out of sector number 1 they come. It's 0.6 of a second. It's increased ever so slightly. Jacobi got a lot of the curbing on the inside though, and he's running slightly wide on the circuit. You've got to be careful with that, with track limits. You can start to get penalties. Colin Herx now behind Steve Vigale by a little bit on the circuit. So another driver who's not had the best of days here. Heading up towards Spoon again. DRS could be enabled here. Unfortunately, I haven't got around to editing the DRS onto this custom HUD. Hopefully I'll be able to do that for next round. But heading out of Spoon now. And will it be getting any closer between these two as they head up towards Spoon? It does. It is closing. The gap is getting closer, but it's just not enough at the moment. Both of them going quite similar speed. In through 130R. Jacobi going on a very defensive line there, and look how close Lechner can get all over the rear. Much better line as well, getting the curbing. Jacobi failing to do so, and look how close Lechner is now. They're both to the right hand side of the circuit, but surely this is going to be the overtake. Jacobi's defending as hard as he can on the inside. They both now move to the right hand side of our cameras, and somehow Jacobi's able to hold the position at the moment. Lechner has to remain behind in P number 2 as they go through turns number 1 and 2. About 20 minutes into this race now, 42 minutes on the clock still, and we're yet to see a single driver come down for their mandatory pit stop, although we have seen about 3 drivers already visit pit lane. Tobias Rona was getting very close to Robert Sevigangas as well for P number 3, but they've had to remain in their positions as well. As it looks like we see Colin Herx down pit lane. He's now completed his mandatory stop, and I believe that's Magnus Sternberg in the background out of today's race. The first retirement of today's race, 18 minutes in. That's a real shame. Riding on board with Ferdinand Lechner once more, chasing down Ismail Jacobi, still for the lead in this. It's 0.3 of a second between them as they head up towards Spoon. Look at the correction on the wheel from Lechner. That surely indicates that there was DRS being used there, that you had to fight the car to make sure it didn't spin. It goes slightly wide from Jacobi. You can hear the gravel being kicked up. And all over the rear, the gap closing as they head up to 130R. Defending the line through from Jacobi. It's going to force him wide. Lechner now will surely have the prime overtaking opportunity on the outside. No, he can't, because Jacobi's just going to place his car in the middle of the circuit. Lechner still waiting, with riding on board the rear wing of Ismail Jacobi now. He's got Ferdinand Lechner behind still. Jacobi did go towards the pit lane. He's now sitting in the middle of the circuit. Lechner now gets the slipstream. And what will he do? He's going to remain behind here. Pushing ever so slightly wide. The grass being kicked up and collected there. Running the best line possible, but not getting the curbing on the inside there. Maybe that might have hindered him a little bit. Let's Lechner get a little bit closer, and again just slightly further away from the curbing than Lechner. It is only minute distance from the curbing as they come out. It's getting closer. 0.43. It was about 0.45 as they exited the corner. It's increasing now. It is increasing. We're going to go back to look at this battle for P number 3 as Rona is all over the rear. of Robert Savaganga still in this battle for the podium. Through the right-hander. Through into the hairpin now. Nothing can be done just yet. It's actually getting closer. It is now getting closer on the exit of the hairpin. That was a really nice run. And it's going to look for the inside of Spoon. So Barcelona is going to look for the inside of Savagangas into Spoon. There's a little bit of contact. But through goes Tobias Rona into P number 3 now. And there's a car off the circuit. That is a back marker though. I believe that's Colin Herx off the circuit. It is. As they're going through the chicane are the race leaders once more. But will Robert Savagangas be able to do anything to get back past Tobias Rona? Not at the moment. Back towards your race leaders. Slipstream still from Lechner. It's closing, it's closing. He swings to the outside. Once again, Jacobu holds the inside. Looks like Lechner's going to try and get the inside into turn 2. Can't do anything at the moment. Jacobu doing his absolutely hardest to hold the lead in the race at the moment. .3 of a second as they go through. It's so close between the both of them. Sitting on the rear wing of Ismail Jacobu once more, your race leader looking towards Ferdinand Lechner. It's 0.3 of a second behind, 0.2 of a second as they come through. A little bit of a wobble from Lechner, runs it off the circuit as well. That's going to increase the gap. It's going to take the pressure off ever so slightly from Ismail Jacobu. Colin Herx, the only driver currently down pit lane of the 35 drivers still in this race. He's also the only driver a lap down out of all the drivers still in this race, unfortunately. Looking at a battle between Ronnie Boehm and Manuel Alvarez for a top 10. It's Alvarez leading Boehm. We're looking for the 10th position, the final top 10 position in this race. Not sure whether they'll be able to do it or not. I don't know, Boehm's been able to get that left-hand side into Spoon. This is how we saw Rona get into P number 3 before. He's been able to hold it, no contact, but he's on the inside. There's a little bit of contact as Alvarez slides towards that inside line. The DRS is open from Boehm as you see the rear wing just drop down. And heading up now towards 130R, you'll surely see that rear wing pop back up. There you go, just before he turns in. Just as I suspected originally at the start of this race. As Matt Lagai now only a second behind Robert Savagangas has been losing time ever so slightly to Tobias Rona. It's about 2 seconds separate all three of those drivers. We might see a battle start to come together once the pit stop stages have arrived. I mean, the window's open, but I'm not sure we'll see anyone in the top 10 most likely, but certainly the top 5. I don't think we're going to see any of those in until at least 30 minutes into this race, unless someone's looking for an undercut. I don't know what people's strategy will be in here, depending on how confident they are on the tyres and how much fuel they've got in, of course. 1 tank of fuel, I believe, will take you the entire race. It's whether you underfill your car at the start and hope that takes an advantage. It won't, I don't believe, because of how long it takes to fill up a car, but it's what these drivers believe and how much they can gain on a lighter car. So we shall see what people's strategy are. Back up towards your leaders though, it's Ismail Jacobu still leading Ferdinand Lechner as they come into 130R once more. Jacobu goes defensive again. Lechner once again goes for the racing line. It doesn't look like he's going for the overtake on the outside. It is just his racing line that looks like he's trying to complete. It's 0.2 of a second between them, and once again they swing to the right hand side. We've seen this happen before, and surely they're going to go both to the left hand side as they head up towards the turn. Ferdinand Lechner side by side with Ismail Yakubu, but has to slow down. But going to try to switch back, and Ferdinand Lechner on the inside. There's contact, but through goes Ferdinand Lechner. He's into the lead, and yes, Ismail Yakubu is down to P number 2 now. Through into the lead goes Ferdinand Lechner. Only just what a switchback move that was into the opening turns, and into the lead goes Lechner, the German driver, at the top of your standings at the moment. As we're almost halfway through the race, Lechner finally finds his way back on top. He only led the opening lap of this race from pole position, or before Ismail Yakubu was able to sneak up through into the lead, but through goes Lechner once more, but Yakubu is still all over his rear and will be looking to find a way straight back through. A little bit of a wobble from Lechner. You see the DRS active. The slipstream of Yakubu is going to hopefully keep him with Lechner. But of course, because Lechner was behind going across the timing line, it means that he's the one with the DRS, and Yakubu currently is without. Through Spoon they go, so a little bit of a slide from Lechner. You can hear his tyres squeal, but he's able to keep it straight, and the gap increasing now. That's a little bit less slipstream from Yakubu, but it's maintaining the gap. The slipstream is maintaining the gap for now, and he is close enough to get DRS next time by, so he should be able to then have the attack and try to catch back up to Ferdinand Lechner. But this lap certainly just one off where he's behind and without DRS. Through the final chicane they go, and up towards timing line. Once again, Lechner, DRS open. Yakubu will gain DRS this time by only half a second behind as they come across the line. Steve Legale has also made his visit now down into the pit lane, so we've seen his mandatory stop now take place as Robert Savigangas is also down the pit lane from P number 4. Robert Savigangas has now found his way into the pits to do his mandatory stop. He'll be one of the top drivers to come down. I did say that they wouldn't come down until at least halfway through the race, so until 30 minutes, but obviously I was mistaken. It looks like Colin Herc's also out of today's race, so it looks like we're now 2 drivers down as we look back to your race leaders. Half a second between them as they're about halfway through the lap now, heading under the tunnel. So Aaron Mann just been overtaken by Ronnie Boehm into turn number 1, but Boehm pushes it wide into turn 2. Mann's not much on the racing line either. They're now coming up towards the S's, and look how close Mann is, all over the tail of Boehm for P number 9. Ismail Yakubu though, once again on the rear of Ferdinand Lechner, heading up towards Spoon. You can see the DRS just closed there as they were coming up towards Spoon. So that's definitely DRS active for Ismail Yakubu as he tries to close down that gap once more in this battle that is continuing for the lead between Ferdinand Lechner and Ismail Yakubu. Yakubu has closed right up to the rear of Lechner. Look at the speed that he's gained. It's a wobble, it's a wobble! Somehow Yakubu's held it, but he's lost a little bit of time. It's back to half a second, but not much time lost at all. Bearing in mind, he just slid it through 130R. And both of them come down pit lane. Ferdinand Lechner and Ismail Yakubu have come down pit lane. That might have been tyre wear, which caused Yakubu to slide then. And they both decided it's time for the pits. It looked like Lechner was the first to blink, and Yakubu just dived down with him. They're both up the jacks now. Who's going to be quicker in the pits? Lechner's away, but so is Yakubu. They are close together. It looks like they're going to come out exactly the same distance that they went in on. And they will be. They come out in P number 2 and P number 3. Anders Murr just behind on circuit. These two are on fresh tyres now. Out of the opening 2 turns, it has increased ever so slightly between these two, and it looks like Lechner's has been able to get into his boots just a little bit quicker. But Matt Legale is now leading your way halfway through the race. He's yet to come down pit lane, but he is, you will see at the moment, pushing it very slightly wide. Those tyres They won't be able to go much further here. He's going to have to come down pit lane to put on a new set of tyres. Through the hairpin, your race leader goes. Ismail Yakubu has maintained about a second gap. He's got a back marker. I believe that's Bram Hengeveld just in front. It is Bram Hengeveld getting involved here, but there you go. He moves out of the way. That's held up Ismail just a little bit, but he moves out of the way, and actually the gap's maintained the same, so I don't think it did hold him up too much. Ross Garland coming down pit lane, as are many of our drivers now. We've got so many down pit lane, all doing their mandatory stop. And I did say we'd see most of them at halfway through this race because of tyre wear. I was out on this circuit earlier, and tyre wear is an absolute killer. They just wear out so quickly on this circuit. You do need to come down pit lane pretty much as soon as you get to that halfway point. Just so then you have at least relatively live tyres by the end of your stint, because otherwise you're just going to be pushing it too far. Steve Legale is going to be an interesting one because he pit about 10 minutes ago, so it's going to be interesting to see what his tyre wear is going to be like, as Matt Legale has come down pit lane now. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Steve Legale's tyre wear is going to be like come the end of this race, bearing in mind he did pit so much earlier than really you want to on these tyres. Back marker now moves out the way of Ismail, but he's been held up so much now by varying back markers that he's about 1.25 of a second behind Ferdinand Lechner, your race leader. Dan O'Neill all over the rear of Paul Fenwick here. P14 is Paul Fenwick, yet to do a pit stop on, so he's still on dead tyres. Dan O'Neill on fresh tyres. He's got Joel Kuzmin just behind him as well. They'll be trying to find a way through. Darren Mann has now made his mandatory stop from the top 5. He wasn't in the top 5 before. He was able to gain up there though without doing that stop. Through the final chicane goes these three drivers. Paul Fenwick now dives down pit lane, decides to get out of the way of Dan O'Neill and Joel Kuzmin. Doesn't want to get involved in that. In fact, we're going to go have a little look at that, because Joel Kuzmin looking up the inside of Dan O'Neill now for P number 13. On the inside, he tries to turn number 1, getting very close to the rear end, almost going into the back of O'Neill, but not quite. Angie Harper, by the looks of it, is out of this race, as well as Daniel Nito. I believe Daniel Nito has also come to an end in this race. Patrick Fournier is side by side with Manuel Alvarez. He has been able to make it through though. Alvarez now going to be under attack from Jorge Fernandez. Ismail Yakubu trying his hardest. He's closed back up in that race lead. He's getting slightly closer now to Ferdinand Lechner, and we might see a battle there once more. I believe we will see a battle, to be fair. Once there's DRS available to Ismail Yakubu, he will definitely be using that to gain through. In fact, we're going to go have a little look at that. But no, back marker getting in the way there. That's Mike McGear, and that has made Ismail Yakubu lose about a second to Ferdinand Lechner. Back markers, I mean, this circuit is very difficult for back markers to move out of the way. It's very difficult to know when to move out of the way, but that is not what Yakubu needed, because he was within the prime position to get DRS from Lechner, but now he's got to do that all over again before he gets the chance of using DRS once more. Jorge Fernandez, P number 11, chasing down Manuel Alvarez. They have done their mandatory pit stop. Just yet to see Roy Magnus. He's the last driver to do his mandatory pit stop tonight. Like I said before though, we might see Steve Legale back down pit lane depending on how fast he's pushing those tyres, because he might just be trying to do tyre saving right now, so he doesn't have to do another pit stop. Either way, it looks like he'll be finishing near the rear of this field, but finishing will still get him points. Through up the inside of Manuel Alvarez goes Jorge Fernandez through turn number 1 though, and up into P number 10. Only about 0.8 of a second behind Patrick Fournier, so maybe he's going to be trying to push back up towards that. Once again, looking at Ismail Yakubu, that's Ferdinand Lechner just up ahead. And I'm thinking that it's definitely closing. It's definitely closing, and it might be this lap that he's back within a gap for DRS. In fact, DRS was open there, so it looks like Ismail Yakubu has got DRS, which is why he's been able to close such an amazing amount of time within the 1 lap. We'll get DRS once more again, because he's once again within a second, heading up now along the main straight. DRS is active as they come across the line. And it's once again, a battle is on for the lead, as it looks like we've seen now everyone has done their mandatory pit stop, as we have got 25 minutes left in this hour-long race. And it's going to be interesting once again with the tyre wear, who's going to be able to save their tyres just that little bit more come the end of the race, because come the end of that race, we saw that definitely these race leaders, Fernando Lecce, Ismail Yacobu, both dive down pit lane, probably a lap earlier than they were expecting to, 2 minutes earlier than the halfway through the race. And does that mean that they're now going to be 2 laps of fighting their tyres maybe come the end, where they should have only been 1 lap of fighting their tyres? I'm not too sure. We shall see what happens here. Heading up in towards the hairpin, it's about a second between the two of them at the moment on board with Ferdinand Lecce. You saw that back marker doing his absolute hardest to go wide. I believe that was Piotr Blasicek. His absolute hardest to go wide along the outside through the hairpin. Very difficult to do that without running off the circuit itself. Through Spoon they go. It's about 1.5 seconds, but Yacobu does have DRS from last lap, so surely he'll enable it here. Out of Spoon and up towards 130R. That's the best chance to close up and get DRS again for next lap. It's closing. The gap is getting closer and closer. It's now just outside of a second. And it's surely going to close. Yeah, so within a second now, but it's whether he can hold that coming up towards the line. In towards chicane they go, getting as much curbing as Yacobu can possibly get here. DRS, it looks like once again active. I think I heard it pop down, as yes it is, because he's closing that gap once more, heading up into across the timing line. That'll be a DRS once more for another lap. And now in towards turn number 1, Yacobu all over the rear of Lechner. Into turn 2, they've got another back marker in front. He's going to move out of the way. He moves out of the way of Lechner. Will Yacobu be able to find his way through? He does, but he doesn't get the best run into the S's. Like Lechner was just able to pull across to the right and then come into the S's, but the gap remains about the same. It opens up ever so slightly, but DRS will be active in a minute from Yacobu. Depends on when he decides to open it. A lot of curbing from both drivers. Lechner pushing a little bit wide off the circuit, in fact. I think it was 4 tires over the white lines and just keeping it out of the grass and the gravel. Into the hairpin they come. This will be DRS active through here for Ismail Yacobu. You can gain so much time with your DRS being active, but you have got to be careful that you don't go turn too hard, because that will just kick the car around. Nice and smooth on the turning from Yacobu into Spoon now. Once again, the DRS being activated outside of Spoon up to 130R will be the most time that Yacobu can gain on this lap before the timing line. Another back marker just up ahead. I believe that's Paul Harlow. Hopefully he'll be able to move out of the way on the main straight and not anywhere near here. There he is. So it looks like he can just stay there for now and move out of the way onto the main straight. I'm not too sure, but they come under brakings into the chicane. And Yacobu has been able to close right back up once more until Lechner will still remain on board here. It's a great view of this battle for the lead is on board Yacobu, because he's not quite close enough to be able to take the lead just yet, but we can see the battling going on. Hopefully, yeah, there you go. Great move from Maherlo as he comes onto the brakes before turn number 1 to allow both the race leaders through. Out of turn number 2 they go and up into the S's. The gap half a second is going to increase or decrease by the time they exit the S's. It looks like Lechner's had a better run through there. Looks like he's had a much smoother run. Yacobu trying his hardest though, not losing too much time, but he has lost a little bit of time through the S's there. I believe he loses time every lap indeed through there. As we're almost into the final third of this race, 20 minutes, and these two have been battling for the lead the entire race, apart from probably the opening lap and the lap where they came out of the pits. I think that's the only 2 laps that they've not really been battling for the lead. Out to a hairpin they go. Half a second between them still, as I would change to a different view, but this is a fantastic view to watch this battle on. Is sitting on board Ismail Yacobu here behind Ferdinand Lechner. in towards Spoon they go. 20 minutes on the clock. Lexner just pushing slightly wide and Spoon and getting two tyres onto the turf on the outside. They both do it again. And now Dirt will be active once more up towards 130R. Look at that time just close and disintegrate as they get up towards 130R. Oh, but that's a little bit too hard from Jacobu. Pushes it ever so slightly too hard and loses everything he just gained along that straight. And a little bit of a wobble, a little bit of a correction from Jacobu. And now it's down to 7/10. The gap has opened. There will be DRS still for Jacobu. He's got it along this straight. He will collect DRS once more as they come across the line there. But that's not what Jacobu would have hoped for on that lap, and is now about 0.8 of a second between them. Tom Lombard and Roy Magnus are battling it between themselves. That's for P number 26 and 27th. They've opened up as they go into turn number 1, however. As we've got 3 cars very close together into the hairpin. That's Jim Nobbs in P16, leading ahead of Aki Borkstein in P17. Just behind, about 0.6 behind, is that ice watch machine of John Patterson. He'll try to get involved in this battle for 16th, but will Borkstein look for a way past Nobbs? Not at the moment. Remains behind in their battle for P16. Looking at the time still between your race leaders. And it's not close enough just yet. It's about 1/10 of a second between these two though. Will Aki Borkstein be able to try and make the move into 130R? Doesn't look like... No, it does look like DRS is active actually. We'll see the rear end pop up as it is. No, it's not. DRS not active there for Aki Borkstein. Looks to the outside, in towards chicane. Jim Nobbs tries his hardest to hold the inside line. A little bit of contact. And Borkstein's going to have to remain there for now. Ismail Jacobu has made a big mistake. Ismail Jacobu is now 1.7 seconds behind Ferdinand Lexner. That was a big mistake indeed. And he's not going to be able to collect DRS this time by surely. That means he's now going to actually have to fight and push to get back within a second of Ferdinand Lexner. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to really fight for the lead because he needs that DRS to really get him back to the rear wing of Ferdinand Lexner. But 1.4 seconds between the two as they come up out of the final turn. Surely Ismail has DRS this lap. It doesn't look like he does. It does not look like the rear wing is laying down. So unfortunately, the battle for the race lead opening up at the moment within the final 20 minutes of this race. Pushing too hard maybe from Jacobu. Aki Borkstein here in P17, chasing down Jim Nobbs still, and has still got John Patterson behind him in P18. And there you go, you can see Patterson running a little bit deep. Loses a little bit of time, but continues on through. It's about 0.8 of a second behind now though, but it's still only about 0.3 between Nobbs and Borkstein as they go through Spoon and up towards 130R. Nobbs pushing it very wide indeed. DRS is active from Borkstein this time. So we'll be heading up towards 130R. Nobbs already on a disadvantage from running slightly wide, and here comes Borkstein now on that inside into 130R, and through he goes up to P16. Jim Nobbs down to P17. We'll look back through to the inside up towards chicane. Can't do it and has to back out of it. And Jim Nobbs now down to P17. Aki Borkstein up to P16, and John Patterson just behind still, trying to get back involved. Tobias Verona, during all of what's happened, he's lost out on the podium once more and is in P number 4 again. Robert Savigangas has been able to work his way into P number 3. That was about pit stop stage time, so that was about 15 minutes ago. I've only just noticed it though. And Matt Legale is still in P5, about 5 seconds down, but it's about a second between these two of Verona and Savigangas. And Verona's going to be trying his absolute hardest to get that podium. So that would be a great way to start the season and start the year, of course. Through the first chicane they go. and out of the final turn. It's 8 tenths of a second between them. Running on board with Tobias Rona. 15 minutes left on the clock. We've only got 25% of this race left to go. We're 75% of the way through, and a big slide from Savigangas just up in front. Rona's going to have seen that and known that he can now really start to push and pressure Savigangas. You can see the gap between Lecter and Jacobu is still about the same. I'm not sure we'll see that close down very quickly up until the point that Jacobu's within a second across the timing line, which is when the DRS starts to really play on effect there. Still looking at this battle for P number 3, running on board with Tobias Rona as he chases down Robert Savigangas. P number 3, back marker of Tom Lombards, I believe, moving out of the way on the inside, tapping his brakes as well. Having to go very wide. That was actually Roy Magnus having to go very wide, heading up into the braking zone. Not the best of racing lines for Rona, but not much time lost at all, as he will continue to push his absolute hardest here. It looks like with 4 drivers down still in this race, because like we were just before most of the field came down pit lane, so we've still got 32 machines in this race. Fantastic to see. Such a long race and such a hard circuit as well, to really stay in the race without accumulating too much damage or just getting too frustrated with it. Into 130R they go, and that's Savigangas pushing it very wide indeed. Rona, you see that he's really pressuring Savigangas here. He knows that he'll be able to find a way through. Wobbling through the chicane goes Savigangas, trying to hold his car and control it, and through goes Rona on the inside. No troubles there, because Savigangas has been fighting his car that entire lap. They're going to be running side by side. DRS is active for Rona, not for Savigangas. Rona gets back onto the racing line. Savigangas dips into slipstream, but into turn number 1 they go. And Tobias Rona back onto a podium. Ahead of Robert Savigangas now, who's back down to P number 4. Matt Legale still in P5 in this race, still losing time to this battle. In fact, he's now 7 seconds behind. That's a further 2 seconds. And that's about a second a lap since we've been watching these guys. Dan O'Neill over the rear of Joel Kuzmin. This is a battle for P number 13. Dan looks towards the outside into the chicane. Kuzmin holds that inside line. They're going to run side by side. Kuzmin closes the door. Dan has to run over the curbing quite a bit. Luckily avoiding too much contact there. They're going to fly through now up towards the timing line. Dan O'Neill remains in P14 behind Joel Kuzmin. Very close indeed. Very close. Up into turn number 1. Dan O'Neill tries the inside. Joel Kuzmin can't do anything. Have to remain behind just for now. Patrick Fournier is all over the rear of Jorge Fernandez, just up the road in a battle for P number 9 and 10. As they were coming through the S's very close together. They started to open up between them once more. And Robert Savigangas all over the rear of Tobias Rona. We will go once again to this battle for P number 3, as these guys just can't leave themselves alone, as Ismail Jacobu's gap to Fernand Lexner has increased. It has really started to increase, and I think Lexner has got this in the bag. 12 minutes left to go. He's started to slowly pull the gap ahead of Jacobu now. Into turn number 1 goes Savigangas, chasing down Rona. They have got a back marker just up ahead of them. I believe that's Stephen Gibb on the circuit ahead of them. So hopefully they won't catch up to him too much through the S's, because it's a very difficult place to move out of the way, and he won't be able to do that until they leave the S's here. And no, they don't catch up to them there, so not time lost for either of them. Rona pushing slightly wide onto the curbing. You could hear Savigangas got the curbing as well, but not as much as Rona. Oh, so that's a very weird place for Gibb to pull out the way right on the racing line, so it made it difficult for both Rona and Savigangas to get through there. Like I said before, this circuit very difficult for a back marker to move out of the way. It's very limited options, and you've got to do it so quickly because of how short all the some of these, well, most of the straights are here, that you just don't have much of an option when people catch up to the rear of you. into Spoon. It's about half a second still in this battle for P number 3. A little bit too much curbing from Robert Sevikangas there. Running on board the rear end of Tobias Rona. Robert Sevikangas now about 5/10 of a second back. It's only half a second. They come through 130R. Big slide from Robert Sevikangas. Able to hold it, but huge slide. And I think his tyres are certainly starting to go out. He's pushing extremely hard, and I just don't think his tyres are able to cope with it. Tobias Rona looks like he may start to be able to pull a gap, and if his tyres remain in this race, he might be able to go all the way to the end and hold on to this podium. Gale might be able to start taking advantage of Robert Sevikangas losing speed on his tyres, but when he is only 8 seconds back, he might start to be able to pull that back to these guys. Robert Sevikangas definitely closing up in the braking points for turn number 1 and 2, but again, it's just, I think he's just pushing that car a little bit too hard, and the tyres have started to really come to the end of their life, and 10 minutes too soon, really. I believe we've seen Steve Legale down the pits for a second time as Robert Sevikangas just came off the circuit there, and he's lost a little bit of time. In fact, he's lost quite a lot of time there to Tobias Rona, over a second between them now. As this is Steve Legale at the rear of your field. He's 33 seconds behind the next man up on track, which is Bram Hengeveld sitting in P31. But I believe that either Steve's come down for a second pit stop. I know he did that stop and go earlier on. It's either he's come down for a second stop, or he's just trying his hardest to save those tyres as much as he can. He's just losing so much time. This is Roy Magner sitting in P25. 24th position just up ahead is Paul Hurlow. And they're only about a quarter of a second between them at the moment as they head up in towards Spoon in their battle near the rear of your field. The gap for your leaders has decreased once more, not by too much, but it has slightly decreased, and it remains at about 1.7 seconds for the most part. I don't think we are going to see anything from Jakobu, like I said, unless Lecter makes a mistake or his tyres start to wear out a little bit more than Jakobu's tyres, but I don't expect that to happen because Lechner can at the moment back off that ever so slight amount, but Jakobu's got to be on full power trying to catch up to Lechner at the moment, and I think we may see that affect Jakobu come the end of this race. So we know those tyres struggle to go the full 30 minutes for a stint anyway, and these guys came in just a couple minutes before that 30 minutes was up in their first stint. So I think that they were struggling to hold on to those tyres after 28 minutes. They've got to go on 34 minutes here, which is 2 further laps of this circuit, and that's going to be interesting to see who's able to control their car a little bit more, because that gap has started to come down actually. Look at this. Whilst fully accelerating, 1.2 seconds between them whilst at full speed. It actually opens up during the braking zone, which is very weird indeed. But do you know what, actually, I was going to say Lechner's got this, he has got to, but I think that Ismail has really got a chance of pushing back up, because again, it's closing. It's 1.1 seconds now, and surely actually he might be able to get DRS this time, or at least next time by. We're running on board with Ismail Jakobu once more. If that's a second once he comes across the line, that'll be a DRS for the lap, and that'll be once again Jakobu back in it for the lead, because the moment he's got DRS he can push back up, and it's within a second. But will it be enough? No, because it looks like Lechner's got slipstream, so that's just going to be enough. I don't think Jakobu's going to be able to get DRS this time. The next time could be a different story. Through goes Lechner past the back marker of Steve Legale. Steve Legale doing his absolute hardest to stay out the way by driving on the gravel. At least it doesn't slow down either Lechner or Jakobu. They come through. Of the S's, and it's about 1 second still, and I think Jakobu's going to get DRS this time. He's just got to be within that second when they come across the timing line, that start-finish straight. A little bit of a wobble there from Jakobu. Lechner still leading this way. Another back marker just up the way, and I believe that might be Patrick Fournier, and if so, no. I think that might be Michael Klein, actually. I think that might be Michael Klein. But they're coming through now up towards Spoon. Again, Lechner getting the slipstream. Really be helping him to pull away from Jacobu, so he's probably not too annoyed with the back marker being in the way, but yeah, he will be, because he's lost a lot of time sitting behind the back marker there. Jacobu can now get the slipstream, hopefully won't be held up going up through 130R. The back marker moves to the right hand side. Jacobu getting as much slipstream as he can possibly get. As they come up through 130R, you can see he pulls off the accelerator and allows Jacobu through. And it's within a second now, so this time by Jacobu is going to collect the DRS as they come across the timing line. So Jacobu is back within the fight for the lead, but he's been in the fight for the lead. When he was in the fight for the lead after he came out of the pit lane, he stuck on the DRS, he still wasn't able to find a way through. So yes, he's now back within the fight for the lead as he collects DRS this time, but it's going to be whether he can take advantage of that and get past Lechner for the actual lead of this race. A little bit wide into turn number 2, that's not what he needs, the gap slightly increasing there, and into the S as they go. Again, it's going to be who has the fresher tyres come the end of this race, and I'm going to say who has the fresher tyres come now, because this is the time in that first stint where both of them dive down the pit lane. 28 minutes into their stints. They are now 28 minutes into this stint. It's 4 minutes to go. I'm going to assume 3 laps, maybe 2 laps. That's a back marker off the circuit, just off of the way. Luckily, not an issue for these guys. They continue to battle for your lead. It's just half a second as they come in towards the hairpin. Just a few more laps left of this race. 2 or 3 more laps to go, as we've got less than 4 minutes left to go. We're riding on board with Jacobu once more. This is a cockpit we are very used to seeing this race. Into Spoon they go. The DRS is going to be active out of Spoon and up towards 130R for Jacobu. He's going to be able to close that half a second. Another back marker up the way here. DRS is definitely active. You can see that gap getting closer and closer. He looks to the inside of 130R, stays out of it, backs out of it. He pushes it slightly too hard, comes off the throttle, gets back on it once more. He's lost a little bit of time, but he'll have the DRS along the main straight. He'll also have the DRS for next lap as well. A little bit of time lost out of chicane. 3 minutes left on the clock. That means we're going to get 2 more laps in this race. Into turn number 1 they go for the penultimate time in this battle for the lead, still remaining on board with Jacobu, and there's half a second between the two of them. In towards the S as they go. Riding on board with Ferdinand Lechner now. You still see Jacobu behind. The mirrors are just full of that number 8 Mercedes. It's currently the Audi leading the way at the moment. Severganger's still ahead of Rona as well. They're about 8 tenths of a second between each other in their battle for P number 3. But we're watching the battle for the lead as Jacobu pushes it very hard over the curbing. He's trying his absolute hardest here. The tyres will be right at the end of their life at the moment. This last lap, it will be who has the fresher tyres, I think, who's going to be able to control that car a little bit more. Look how close Jacobu gets onto the rear end. Both of them wobbling out of the hairpin, but Lechner getting the faster exit. DRS surely open for Ismail Jacobu here. It will be, because the gap is closing. It's closing. Into Spoon they go. Once again, DRS will be active out of Spoon and up towards 130R. These machines only half a second apart as they come up towards the final lap here. Jacobu looks to the inside of 130R, gets back into the slipstream. Look how close he is. Hopefully he won't push it too hard this time. He's pushed it hard, but it's not as hard as last time. Into the braking point they go. Just 1 turn left of this lap and they're onto the final lap of the race. It's only 4 tenths of a second between them. Jacobu will pick up DRS once more for the final lap here. You can see Jacobu look to the inside into turn number 1, doesn't do it, backs out of it, remains behind. Look how close he is. Riding on board, a little bit of a correction, but you can see his tyres have definitely gone up now because he is really having to fight that car. Got another back marker just up ahead, but it's so close between these guys. Just 0.3 of a second, 0.4, 0.3 once more. Out of the S's they go. Just 30 seconds left on the clock. This will be the final lap of the race. Hopefully that back marker won't get too involved. There's a few cars actually off just up ahead. A number of cars, a train of cars in fact, that might really influence this battle. Into the hairpin goes Jacobu. Is he looking to the inside of Lechner? He tries it. Look how close he is to the rear end. Can't do anything. Lechner gets the slightly faster exit. They remain about 0.35 seconds between each other. DRS active once more for Ismail Jacobu. Up towards Spoon, it's 0.2 of a second between them. They go through Spoon. This is a lot of pressure on Lechner, a lot of pressure on Jacobu. A little bit of a slide through Jacobu. They're going to come out to Spoon now. DRS active once more for Jacobu, but it's increased to 0.4 of a second. This is his final chance. You've got so many cars in front of it. It's a whole train. The 51 is leading this way. The number 8 is in P number 2. They're going to fly through. Jacobu slides it slightly, slams onto the brakes. He looks to the inside into the chicane to try it. Has to come off, and it's going to be Ferdinand Lechner to lead this way, to lead the train of cars. He's going to win it. Ferdinand Lechner continues his GPC domination here in the TCC. And Ferdinand Lechner wins your way, only just ahead of Ismail Jacobu. Tobias Rona only just coming through 130R, but he is ahead of Robert Sebagangas. He looks to the inside, locks up back to the outside. Rona's gone deep. Sebagangas is all over the rear, and just like the battle for the lead, it's going to be very close in the battle for the final step of the podium, and it's going to be Rona ahead of Sebagangas for P number 3 and P number 4. Matt Legale still got quite some time to get through this final turn here and up towards your timing line for P number 5. He's been a driver that's really been just sitting there, just getting that good position, but not much happening for him as he comes across the line along with Anders Murr as well. He was in that battle for the podium originally up until he spun out of the final chicane. But what fantastic racing that was. Looking at Dan O'Neill here as he comes out of Spoon and up towards the final chicane. He's sitting in P number 12. He's trying to chase down Manuel Alvarez. He's within 0.8 of a second of Manuel Alvarez, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He's got just a couple of more turns to go. He remains behind at the moment, and I think that's going to be it. Manuel Alvarez to finish ahead. Jorge Fernandez is also only about half a second behind Patrick Fournier, but it's going to be Fournier for P number 9 and Fernandez to round out your top 10 there as they come across the timing line. Just behind them, Manuel Alvarez to come across the line in P11, just ahead of Dan O'Neill. We've still got Mike McGeer and Bram Hengeveld battling it out for P number 29. Mike McGeer looks to the outside of Hengeveld, can't do anything as they go through, and he loses quite a bit of turn trying to find that outside line. As they come through to cross the line, it is going to be Hengeveld P29 and Mike McGeer in P30. We're going to have a little look at our full race results now. Ferdinand Lechner to win the race, half a second ahead of Ismail Jacobu. Tobias Rona to take P number 3. Sebagangas to take P number 4 ahead of Matt Legale. Anders Murr, McGowan, Darren Mann, Fournier and Fernandez round out your top 10. Alvarez, O'Neill, Kederer, Kuzmin, Borkstein, Boehm, Nobbs in 17, Patterson, Klein and Garland round out your top 20. Fenwick, Gibb, Mangas, Harlow, Blasicek, Lomberts, Peterson, Hugard, Hengeveld, McGeer and Steve Legale to round out your top 31. And Daniel Nito to finish in 32nd, who did finish the race. No, he didn't. Daniel Nito did not finish that race in P32. John Sauter also out of the race alongside Harper, Hertz and Magnus Sternbury. What a race indeed that was. Fantastic stuff, but it's going to be Ferdinand Lechner to be leading this championship out of the first round. We've still got 5 more rounds to go. Next time out will be at Slovakia Ring in 2 weeks' time, so be sure to join us for that one. We've still got Portimao heading your way as well in a month's time, and at the end of February we'll be seeing Indianapolis, and then in March it'll be 2 fantastic race circuits. finalising this championship at Spa-Francorchamps and at the Nordschleife. And I cannot wait for the Nordschleife circuit. I hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's event then, because I certainly have. It's been absolutely wonderful to have you guys here. It's been absolutely wonderful for everything that's gone on tonight as we've just come out of the circuit there. It's been absolutely fantastic racing here for all the drivers. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have, and as much as hopefully all of the guys racing here today have, because that was absolutely fantastic. And well done to all of our drivers with that. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us for this opening round of the Race Department Touring Car Championship and the first league event of 2018. We've got so many more to come this year, so I hope you're looking forward to that as much as we are. But otherwise, we will see you next Saturday for the penultimate round, round number 4 of the GPC, where Ferdinand Lecter will be hoping to continue his dominant run over there, as well as he's currently won every single race of the season. I will see you then, and goodbye.